Hey everybody, Johnny Klimax here, and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be doing called Klimax Stuff. So today's episode, as I promised, we're going to be working on the Sega Saturn. This Sega Saturn in particular, the disk drive is spinning, the power is working, it is just not showing any video. So there's a few things that could be wrong with it. I am assuming from what I've researched it's the capacitors, so that's what we're going to work on today. I'm going to replace a few of the capacitors, and that's what I'm going to do. So sit back, relax, and please hit that subscribe button below, and we will get this party started. Hey everybody, welcome back. So like I said, we're going to fix this bad boy up, hopefully or not, and either way you guys are going to get to see inside Model 2 Sega Saturn. So first off, there are going to be a few items that you need to replace the capacitors. You will need new capacitors. The ones in here are 16 volt capacitors. These ones right here are 25 volt. That doesn't really mean too much to me. Like I said, I am not a professional technician. The only thing I will tell you from my research is that these ones have a higher tolerance than the ones below. So you could go up, you just can't go down. So these ones right here should be perfectly fine from what I've gathered. You need some rosin solder. That is going to be once you get the old ones out and put the new ones in. This right here is soldering wick. It's copper and has some flux on there. I do have a flux pen, so I do have a little extra flux just in case I need to soak up the, well, if it's not soaking it up properly. It is old solder, so I might need some persuading. And then, of course, some wire cutters so you could cut the solder or the wick that you are going to be working with. A couple different size screwdrivers. You will only need a Phillips screwdriver to get into this, but I mean, just personal preference, I like to have two around just in case. One has a magnetic tip on there, so once I get into the board itself, I'm going to be using that one. And also a soldering iron. There are many different soldering irons, but this was the old one I'm using. This right here in particular, you want to have it preheated up, so this way everything is ready to go. And you need like a sponge or something with a little water, because every pass that you make, you want to kind of clean off that tip, so you know, get a better connection. As well as another thing too, you want to take a little solder and you're going to tin the tip, which is going to help the solder flow a little bit better as well. And yeah, so from there we're going to get this party started. We're going to open this bad boy up. We're going to do a quick cut to it. So yeah, just sit back and relax. So first off though, you're going to want to flip over your Sega Saturn. Before you open this up, just keep in mind that you need to have some knowledge of the motherboard and where everything's located at, which I will show you, but just do all this stuff at your own risk. But first off, you need to remove the 5 screws, which there's 2 here. There's also one here, here, and here. I've already removed the screws just to kind of speed up the time a little bit, and I just will take that off for you guys real quick. Right. I just want to hold that over. The screws will fall out. Make sure you don't lose any of them. So first off, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take off the CD drive. So there's a few wires that are going to be hooked up to that you want to remove. Which is going to be kind of a pain, but this one right here and this right here. It's got a little blue line on there, so you're going to want to have that lined up when you do put that back. And there's going to be a ground cable right here that you're going to want to remove too. So this is where the other screwdriver will come in handy with the smaller Phillips. So just remove that. That's a very tiny screw. Put that aside, and then just remove the CD drive from that. The next thing you're going to want to remove is the power source, which is going to be this right over here. It should just remove pretty easy. There is a screw right here. Make sure you don't lose that screw either. And that looks like to be the only screw that you need to remove. Just put that aside. And then there's a clip right here that you're going to want to unclip too, and then move that aside as well. There is a piece of protective shielding that you want to remove. By the way, this is a Model 2, so the Model 1 will have some slight differences. Same kind of concept though. And then there is multiple screws to get the heat plate off. And then this ribbon right here is, like I said, that was the ground cable ribbon for that. You want to remove that completely. And put that aside. Also note that all these screws that I'm unscrewing right now are the same size. You don't really need to worry about that too much, with the exception of the ground ribbon. Alright, then the next that you're going to remove is the power button. There's 2 screws for that. That's where the cable that you detach from the power source is going to be. Also, same size screws. Or actually a little shorter, I'm sorry. So just kind of keep in mind, have a system. And that's going to be removed right there. Just put that aside. And that should be able to... Oh, one more screw. And this is what I said, you have multiple screwdrivers because sometimes it's easier to get in certain spots. Like I said, I prefer the one with the magnetized tip because it will make this part a little bit easier so the screws are not bouncing around. Make sure you feed everything through and just put that aside. Alright, so here's the motherboard. As you can tell, you have a lot of the capacitors over here and over here. I'm just going to inspect them a little bit further just to check to see which ones I might need to replace. So as you can see, the disc is spinning, but we still have no video. It's kind of flashing on the screen a little bit. I don't know if you can see that with the camera, but let me just turn it off and take the disc out. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the power for the CD drive and turn it on, and as you can see, the Sega Saturn comes on. So what I'm assuming is one of 2 things: either A, the power source is bad and it's not getting enough voltage to power the disk drive, or the disk drive itself is bad. Either way, yeah, that's pretty much my conclusion of this. If you guys know what might be the problem in the comments below, just let me know. Alright everybody, so here she is, Sega Saturn 1, Johnny Klimax 0. What I'm assuming is wrong with it, you could correct me in the comments below. So I replaced the capacitor that had a slight bulge to it, which needed to be replaced anyhow. That didn't do anything for it. The good news is I took the power supply off the disk drive, and it did show a picture. That's cool because it shows me one of two things. Either A, the disk drive itself is not working, or B, the power supply does not have enough juice. So the power supply itself might be wrong. But anyway, you live and learn. Didn't get this one working. I'm gonna keep messing around with it, and if I get it working again, I will definitely do a video with it, working, and let you know what I did to fix the problem. If not, that means the Sega Saturn did defeat me. On that note, thank you for the first episode of Klimax Fixes Stuff. In this case, not so much. Alright, you guys have a wonderful night, and don't forget to subscribe below if you like what you saw today.